Here we go again. Hey, everybody. Here we are again.
Yes.
Fuck yeah. You thought we were dead and quit. And no, like that was just a week. Like it wasn't that bad. We're back. It's okay. Here's your drug. Here's your guys' audio heroin.
Mainline that shit.
Yeah, here we are again. You don't need to go to therapy because you have us. So when your wife or son or mom or dad or whoever is like, oh, you need to talk to somebody, you could be like, no, I listen to this one podcast every week or so, and that does it for me.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, oh, okay, cool. Never mind then.
Not to get weird, but this is kind of like therapy for us too.
Yeah, no, I it definitely is. I've said that before.
So it's helping everybody.
Yeah, talk therapy.
Yeah.
It's a thing, and that is basically what we get into here sometimes.
Yeah.
So here we are talking about stuff again, mostly dad stuff. But you know what? This time we're bringing some new segments. We're trying out some new stuff. I told you before that things will change around here, and it happened.
Yep.
Lo and behold, here we are.
Yep.
We got a new format for the most part, and we're trying some new stuff out. So in between the letter that you're writing from the last thing and the time before that and the time to come, write a letter here and say, hey, I liked that thing and the other thing, or I didn't like that thing or the other thing, or you know what, we're just going to keep doing it because we like it. And that might happen anyway. I'm not going to lie. I can't give you false hope. Like, you may hate it, but like if this is something we dig, then we're going to keep digging it.
Yeah.
So, but let us know anyways, And as always, we've got I can't remember what I said last time. I know that I made it sound really cool, but we're going to go with a fatherly question. And I'm sure that rings no bells, and that's not a trademarked at all.
Hey.
And if you did know what that came from, then good for you. You're in the right place. And that question is, what influence did Dad have on you as far as your music, your TV, your movies? What part of your pop culture intake is due to what Dad was exposing you to as a child?
Right.
And with that brief but wonderful description out there, Dan, why don't you go ahead and take it first?
On the music end, my dad, it's about 50-50, but we're going to stick to the dad stuff. My dad's a big Bob Seger fan, so that's not really a guilty pleasure, but because I don't really care what you think about that, because I like it, so...
It's not guilty at all.
No.
Fuck you. I like Bob Seger.
That was, that's probably his favorite, so I listened to a lot of it growing up, riding around with him. Another one is good old Cheap Trick. If anybody out there rings a bell with that one, we used to listen to a lot of their stuff on the road. And
that's one of those where the name definitely rings a bell, but I can't think of any song.
Yeah, I can't really either off the top of my head, to be honest, but that was one of them. It's been a while, man.
Yeah, it has.
Stuff like that. Of course, I like a lot of classic rock because that was the radio station you listened to when you wasn't listening to, good old cassette tapes. You younger kids probably don't know what that is, but...
Yeah, it's almost like us with 8 tracks.
Yeah.
It was around for such a short period of time.
The next step from that. For TV, not really movies, nothing really rings a bell except for like Ace Ventura. That was one of our favorites, and maybe like even now, I know it's a newer movie, but the Jim Carrey Grinch, that version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
That's a good one.
We always try to watch it together on Christmas Day when we get together. At least part of it started anyway, and that's kind of like a tradition since it came out. But yeah, for TV, he really liked Seinfeld, and that's where my love for Seinfeld comes. I love that show to death. It's probably one of my favorite sitcoms, if not my favorite of all time.
I almost tried to hum the intro, the music, but
so hard.
I was going to hum the theme to the cartoon Doug.
Wow.
I know that's not right.
Yeah. And then really, I think I would attribute my love for sports to him because I can remember watching NASCAR every Sunday. watching a lot of football and baseball and basketball. And I remember, as a child, hate me or love me for this, but I grew up a Yankees fan because of him. And I can remember in 96 and in 98 when I was with him when they won, we both would run outside screaming and yelling, and that was kind of a cool moment for us to share. And but yeah, just my love for sports and Seinfeld, really.
Right on.
What about you? Do you have any influence on you?
Well, I'll go in the same order. And to start out with music, he definitely did have an influence on me to this day, even because two artists that I have, I guess, loved since he first introduced them to me are two of my favorites.
Right.
And that is Dwight Yoakam and Tom Petty. And I guess having said that, I have to throw in a very obvious third, and that's Aerosmith.
Right on.
And there may be, any other number of things, or bands rather, that he did, turn me on to. But those three definitely stick out, as high points amongst the rest. And I mean high points amongst any group of three bands that you want to put together,
right.
Really. Depending on, some people just can't stand country music, and if that's the case, then obviously Dwight's not going to be your thing.
Right.
But Tom Petty and Aerosmith, I mean, show me somebody that doesn't like Tom Petty and Aerosmith.
Right. Or at least one of them.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't like Tom Petty or Aerosmith, like...
What are we doing?
I don't even know what we're doing here. Like, if you can't find one song that you like, then you've got to be... Okay, what's jumping in my mind is somebody that really young.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know, 12, 11, 13. Like,
Hell,
where they're
even
like
20.
I like what I like, and everything else sucks.
Even like 20.
Like, yeah.
Because with the music coming out now, like, good Lord.
It used to be, well, okay. I go by what the radio gave me,
yeah.
because I used to listen to the radio a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for a fact that in times past, and we're getting into a segment here that we might talk about later.
Uh-oh.
But I know in times past that it was much easier to just turn the radio on and just leave it on the same station and not have to worry about it. And now, today, if I turned it on to the local rock station, it wouldn't be 2 or 3 songs before I was like, okay, that's not going to do it.
Yeah.
And it's not something that I'm trying to get into right now, if only because, like I said, we might talk about that. But at the same time, it's just it's very obvious based on that criteria that things have changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and without placing any kind of judgment on it,
no,
it's clear that things have changed.
Well, I mean, we like what we like, and
yeah, and I did read, or maybe I heard that you are typically most attached to the music that you heard in your junior high school, grade era, and I'm guessing that's like a lot of this fell in that time frame.
Yeah.
So
yeah, a lot of it was a little bit post high school, but yeah, right around in there.
I mean, like, I don't love Limp Bizkit, but I still listen to Limp Bizkit.
Oh yeah, I had a phase.
Yeah. So but the thing is, at the same time, Appetite for Destruction came out when I was 4. So clearly that wasn't, that came out and got into me long before junior high.
Yeah.
So I guess it just depends. I know that my dad, as I said, did listen to a lot of other things because he listened to the same station that my mom did. And my mom was the one that really, I would say, influenced me the most. You said it was a 50-50 shot. Yeah. I think that it was...
Well... early on, but after they split, of course, it was mostly what Mom wanted.
Yeah, because you didn't know what your dad.
But I mean, like you said in an earlier episode, that I lived in a really small place, and yeah, I did. And no joke, Walmart was like an hour away. So I know that's hard to believe to some people, but it really was. It was like almost an all-day affair. And but when we would go, I would like stock up on like CDs at the time. I would got like my first AC/DC album was a live album with all their hits. So
oh god, a live album.
I mean, it was really good though. It was really good, and And then I started getting like Ozzy's greatest hits and Van Halen's greatest hits because I didn't know.
That's what you did.
I
as a
mean,
kid.
I didn't know any better because I'm younger than like that stuff. I mean, you probably came. Do you remember any of them coming out with stuff like?
Well, I mean, I remember them coming out with like
You weren't there from like Appetite came out when you were 4.
yeah. I don't
So
remember.
was Van Halen already around before you?
Yeah, they came out in '78.
Okay,
I think,
yeah,
like,
so-
something like that.
But,
And Ozzy, like he was out with Black
Oh,
Sabbath.
well, yeah.
So
I'm talking just Ozzy by himself, but
I think Blizzard of Oz was out in '81.
yeah. So
So yeah, even
see,
him.
I wasn't around then, and that's what back to what Dad influenced you on, like growing up, riding around in the truck. I heard all that stuff, not knowing until later, like, oh yeah, I remember this from such and such time, or So I kind of that AC/DC album, really, honestly, that live album was like Pandora's box almost for me, because
like-
that's after
That's
that.
interesting. I've got my
I
own
started,
little Pandora's box.
I started, going down to Ozzy and Van Halen, and then listening to like what my mom, she likes Journey, of course, and Foreigner, and
Oh, I love those
all that
bands.
stuff,
Yeah,
which-
I love them.
which my dad does too. But
And
like,
that's really like I would. That's my mom.
know,
That-
yeah.
Same thing. She loved
but
the
my mom
Journey.
also likes like some of the pop stuff. Like I don't know, I can't think like I said, like John Cougar Mellencamp. Like that's a dirty little secret, not a dirty little secret, but a little guilty pleasure of mine. Or
That guy
you know-
that does I can't remember his name, but my mom got me into
Doobie Brothers.
I want to be your lover,
Yeah.
lover boy. I can't remember his name.
I can't either.
He also did Get Out of My Dreams.
Yes.
I can't. I was hoping that singing that one might bring his name, but
No,
anyway,
no.
yeah, that was mom too. The pop stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
The pop, but she also does like a little classic rock. But my dad was more the classic rock, not heavier guy, but like he liked, their radio station. When you got in their car, you knew who was driving what car last because they were just a tad different. But yeah,
Yeah, my dad would have fit right in with, and probably was exactly like the people from Dazed and Confused. He had a couple of really nice cars at one point or
Yeah.
another, like the kind that they drive into the parking lot at the beginning.
oh yeah,
And he to hear him tell it, had gone an extra step on the sound system, and also to hear him tell it, he always had weed on him. He's in my mind one of those guys, and he would have been in school like right around that time.
Yeah.
They were going into senior year in 1980, and okay, so it was 79, and they were going into,
wasn't Dazed and Confused 77? Would have been their senior year.
was it? I'm not going to argue because
76?
I don't know.
76 maybe.
So that was so it was. They still had 4 more years before.
Well, they toasted to it. I think on the somewhere somebody
Okay,
toasted to it.
I'm basing all of this off of the conversation they have in the car with the redhead girls. Like the 50s sucked, the 60s rocked,
Yeah, the
70s
suck.
obviously
yeah,
suck.
obviously suck.
so maybe the 80s will rock.
Yeah,
And they did.
yeah, yeah.
But looking back, I feel like certain aspects.
But then the 90s were pretty good too, though.
Yeah, I did not hate the 90s.
No.
You got to pick and choose when it comes to the 70s.
Yeah.
But like by and large, everything about the 80s and the 90s was just amazing and awesome and great.
Yeah.
And if you didn't live it, then I'm sorry for you. There was a time where like all the music was awesome.
Yeah.
And I would watch every movie that came out, and they
Yes.
were all great.
Yes.
And even the bad ones were great.
Yeah.
So it was a wonderful time to be growing up, and wrestling was just at its apex.
Oh yeah, that was another thing. Wrestling. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah,
my
Dad,
love
yeah.
for wrestling came
Yeah.
from my dad.
Oh yeah. All we've done is the music part. So
Yeah.
after the music, his influence really dies off. With the movies, as I said before we started recording, or after we started recording, but before I started editing it out, he only really influenced me to watch one thing. That one movie, The Last Outlaw. I never even watched that. Still have yet to watch that. The other movie that he may possibly have influenced me to watch, which was Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man, a classic, a wonderful movie. That one, was great. If he's the one that got me to watch it, but it didn't change my life the way what you see on the wall, directly in front of you or to your left. I guess we're going to go ahead and say Nightmare on Elm Street and The Lost Boys for those that aren't watching the hidden video feed that I've put somewhere on YouTube. And if you find it, well, then you get a special prize. I'm not going to tell you where it is, though, but good luck. Anyway, we come to after that. What did you say? TV or
Yeah,
was music
TV, music, TV, movies.
well, as far as TV, he didn't really.
I went with more sports.
Yeah.
That's what
Okay.
it
Yeah.
was.
Sports. Yes.
I was going to ask you about that.
The one thing that he did. My dad is the reason that I'm a Michael Jordan fan. He would watch every game on WGN whenever they came on there.
Yeah, I mean,
And so I would watch every game with him,
Right.
and I loved those years because Michael won all the
yeah.
time,
Oh yeah,
and he was wonderful doing it.
like Mike, baby.
Yeah,
I grew up.
it was
Yeah.
that was a time when if you were my age, then you probably watched a cartoon called Pro Stars with Michael Jordan and Bo Jackson and Wayne Gretzky, where
Wow.
they teamed up to
What a lineup.
I tried to watch it again, don't. But they teamed up as like a superhero group where they would they were like the Sports Avengers or something.
Nice.
And at the time it was awesome. And they were the tops. And also my dad, this didn't stick, but for a long time I was a Cowboys fan because of my dad.
Rough.
Yeah. It wasn't like hardcore like gotta live and
No,
die.
Right.
But
I mean,
at
I
the
was
same time,
too. I can't say anything.
yeah, and now that I'm getting into it, these things they come to me as we're speaking.
But I smartened up.
Yeah, he's the reason that I got into the Lakers.
Ooh, really?
Well, I did like Shaquille
I
to
thought
a
you
certain
were a
degree,
Celtics fan.
but he's a Larry Bird fan.
Oh.
But
My dad
he
is
liked
too.
Magic and the Lakers.
Hmm.
I mean, of course my dad likes Larry Bird because my dad's an ignorant racist. And I'm not saying that Larry Bird fans are ignorant racists, but all ignorant racists are Larry Bird fans. So you take that and do with it what you want. We got the Lakers to a bit of a degree, the Cowboys to a lesser degree than that, and then most of all Michael Jordan. And I guess one of my family members got me into the Braves too, because these things aren't. I was a Braves fan from like 91 or 92 on, and maybe 90. And it's not like I just turned it on and started watching it.
Yeah.
People turn you on to these things.
Right.
So maybe that was my dad too. And if so, then thank you, Dad. Because I've enjoyed the Braves to more or less ever since. And did you know that they're favored to win the World Series?
Really?
Yes. In the face you made and the tone you said that in was the exact same thing that I had.
Wow.
And I'm a fan.
Wow.
They're like, the percentages are low. I think that the Braves.
Well, I
sit
mean, yeah,
they're at 14%, something like that.
they're the leader.
They're the lead.
It's probably them and the friggin' Houston Astros, right?
The Astros are really high up there. Yes.
Are the Yankees really high?
I kind of don't remember the Dodgers though. They were.
Yeah.
But this is, how I am with memory. Yeah, that's the point that I'm making. It's crazy.
No offense,
It's the
but
Braves. Well, I mean, they lost. Okay, so they won the World Series and then immediately got rid of their Hall of Fame first baseman.
well, yeah.
And then I don't know if they made it to the National League East, but they lost in the playoffs.
Yeah, they won the East.
And then they go to the next year and they don't re-sign their Hall of Fame shortstop. And so
Swansby?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dansby Swanson.
I saw Swanson.
And I'm just, I'm wondering how long you can do this.
Yeah, I mean,
Because they didn't replace Swanson with anybody.
yeah.
They,
I mean,
there's
you
this
can't
guy.
keep everybody. I mean, it's hard.
Yeah, but they're,
But there's no salary cap in baseball, though, is there? I don't think so.
I don't know. enough
Because
to argue
everybody's
that.
payroll isn't the same. Like,
No,
the Marlins are always at the bottom, and
yeah,
the Yankees
because,
are
like,
always at the top, which lately not so much anymore. But
because the baseball franchise makes you so much money.
Yeah,
if you keep that low like the Marlins, then you're making hundreds of millions of dollars every year. If you get rich tomorrow, go buy yourself any kind of
stock.
soccer. In fact, jump on soccer, buy a soccer league, or not a league because you can't afford that, but buy a soccer team. And you will be set for life. Your grandkids will be set for life. it would be, well, I mean, the world's going to end soon, I guess, because Russia. But man, we got way off. Okay, so those are that's the influences. My dad had on my pop culture. Now, as we move on, folks, I just want to say this is the way it is. We move around. We jump from just
Place to
lily
place.
pad lily pad to lily pad like a bunch of stone frogs. And I hope that's cool with you, because I want you to join in with us. I want you to follow along
It
with
helps.
the grow.
It helps us.
Yeah, but at the same time, if that's a problem, it's not going to get better.
No.
That's the thing that we actually are kind of tied to, is the freedom that we have to talk about these things as long as we want, and to jump around as much as we want.
Yeah.
So I felt like that that went on long enough that maybe it should come with some sort of closure at the end. But now that we've got that out of the way, our next our next segment is another new segment, and it's the originally named Grind My Gears, which is where we're going to talk about. We're going to alternate it. I'm going to go next week. Dan's going to go this week. And actually, I guess with our recording schedule, I'll have to have two for next week. No, never mind. What the fuck am I thinking?
I'll have to have another. One.
Yeah, you'll have to have another one 2 weeks in a row, I guess. So it's where, hey, we love our kids.
Yeah.
We love them to death, but they do some things sometimes that really just piss us off, man. It just really makes us want to grind our teeth. It grinds our gears to a stop.
And usually it's just the little things.
Yeah, it's not
Sometimes
much.
It's major, but
yeah, but like typically it's just a little thing that they just won't stop doing.
yeah, it's part of them growing and learning.
Yeah, and it actually makes it worse when they see that you hate it, because then they're going to stick to it.
Oh yeah.
That being said, though, Dan, what does your child do that just grinds the hell out of your gears?
Well, Corey, thank you for asking. My child will be walking around with her juice and her little blanket that she has, not we. And she will be, walking around and like poking around at stuff that she knows she's not supposed to be in. And I'll look at her and be like, "Hey, no, get out of there." And she'll just look at me like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." I'm like, "Hey, no, get out of there." And then if I like stand up, she'll start like getting mad, and she'll throw either her juice and her blanket or one or the other. And then when I say, "Okay, come on, let's go," and she will point to it and scream, "Juice, juice, Lovey." Lovey's her blanket. And I'm just like, "You threw it on the ground. Go pick it up. I'm not picking it up. Like, it's your turn. You pick it up." So it's every day. Sometimes it's multiple times a day, and it's just like, come on. But I know she's still young and still trying to learn. And
that sounds terrible. So not only is she misbehaving, but then when you finally like make a move because she's misbehaved more than once.
Yeah.
Because you're about to stand up or make some sort of extra emphasis. That's when she throws something down and throws a fit.
And throws a fit. Like, she gets mad at me for yelling at her for doing something she knows she's not supposed to do. It's like, that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to correct you. Like,
and I don't like. I mean, obviously they're kids. Things don't need to make logical sense.
No.
But I can't find the connection between you can't do this and I'm gonna throw something down and like scream about it.
Well, it's just her way of kind of throwing her little mini tantrum. I mean,
so it's like just a show of anger.
Yeah, instead of the kids like throwing themselves on the floor like you see in the books and like pounding their fist and feet on the ground at the same time while they're on their stomach and screaming, she just throws her stuff down and then screams because she threw it down. It's like,
yeah, so I get it. So she's doing the same thing.
Yeah,
it's just that's how she does it.
That's how she deals with it. And sometimes she'll like, whatever. She'll just, if something's not right, she'll like if she's coloring or something, for example, if she doesn't like the page or if it's full. If the paper, she's drawn all over the paper and she doesn't realize she can flip it over yet. Well, sometimes, but she gets mad. That she has no room left. She'll get really mad and she'll squeeze that crayon really hard and she'll just throw the paper off the table. And I'm just like, really? And I'm like, all you gotta do is say, "Daddy, paper," and I'll go get you some, like, or ask for it and we'll get up and go get it. Like, but like I said, she's only 2.5, almost 3. More closer to 3 now than 2.5, but she's still learning. She's still trying to figure out how to control those emotions and regulate everything and not we can do that. So it's simple to us. Like, why can't you just chill out? Like, I say that to her all the time. You need to chill out. And she just, I get the sass back because that's what girls do.
That's cute.
So that's just one little thing that grinds back when she gets mad and throws her little tantrum by throwing whatever she's got in her hand. It could be a toy, it could be her juice or a little blanket, whatever. She throws it down and then gets mad and points at it and screams. And I'm just like,
So if you like immediately got it and gave it to her, would she stop screaming?
yeah, but I don't want to. I'm trying to teach her that that's not the way to.
Yeah, I'm not saying like
Yeah.
do that, but like
Well,
she would stop screaming if you did that.
yeah, but usually when I tell her, I say, no, you pick it up, you threw it, you get it. And she's getting to the point now where she'll stand there for a minute and drop her shoulders and drop her head to her, like her chin to her chest and pooch her lip out. And I'm like, I'm not getting it. If you want it, you better get it. And she'll eventually like not waddle over there, but she'll sneak over there and bend down, pick it up real quiet, and then just kind of like a puppy dog with his tail between his legs almost.
Like doesn't really want you to see her getting it.
Yeah. And then when you look at her and when she's like after she's got it, whatever she threw that she wants, and you look at her, you look at her and like I don't look at her sternly, I guess. I look at her like, good job. And I said, good job, you got it. And she's like, nah. Like, don't talk to me because she's mad and women have sass. That's starting to come out. It's been coming out since, oh my God. Yeah. But anyway, that's another story. But yeah,
That's for the next grind.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, just that whole little tantrum thing that she throws. I know kids throw tantrums differently, but that's what mine does. And it just grinds the hell out of my gears sometimes. Right. Especially if I've had a bad day and I don't want to deal with that. And
it comes at the worst time.
Yeah, but it's a daily thing usually sometimes.
That's interesting. You know, it's we all had those. I had one that I had planned for the last episode that I'll just do next time. That that our kids, we don't have the mental capacity to consistently remember that they're just children.
Yeah.
Sometimes we forget.
Yep.
And it's those times that we forget that they're most likely to do these things.
Yeah.
And so, just keep in mind, like their little brains don't think the way your brain thinks.
Nope. They're still learning.
Yeah. And they have to, learn at their own speed.
Yeah.
So, just gotta be patient.
For sure. God almighty.
And I'm not saying that either of us is, any better at it than you are.
Oh, no.
I'm just saying that if you're going to learn something today, we do like to give out a little bit of information sometimes.
I'm still learning.
If we're gonna come away with anything today, it's that kids are still stupid and that you can't expect them to act right. So when your wife says, "Hey, what'd you learn on your favorite podcast? Your new favorite awesome podcast that I can't wait to tell all of my guy friends about," you're gonna say, "Yeah, honey, you're right. Tell them all about it. And I'm gonna give you the big dick now. And I learned about how I need to be patient with the kids." And she's gonna say, "Aw, that's so
really?
sweet and thoughtful, and that makes me wet. Give me that big dick in every way that you want to give it to me." Then you're gonna be like, "Wow, not only did I learn something from this podcast, but I turned my wife on too, and I got laid. What more can you ask from something that's given to you for free?"
Right.
I mean, come on. But that's actually bringing us toward the end. And before we do end, I know that you've got a top 5 list.
Ooh,
top
my
5
top 5
list. We're coming with a top 5 list. We got a top 5 list.
Top 5 list. All right. My top 5 list, I have 2 OLIs, so it's a top 7, I guess.
Okay, and OLI is outside looking in.
Outside looking in. Top 5 things I love about being a dad.
All right.
Or love or like, whatever. And I'm going to start at the lower ranked one and work my way like from bottom to top.
That makes perfect sense.
Well, yeah. I mean, but naturally, that's what you do. OLI it'd be number 7 is that my daughter right now, at least, this could change eventually, but she is very easily amused. Like you can look at her, make a funny face, and she starts giggling, laughing, and wants to play. Like, they're easily amused. So when she's in a bad mood, if you start tickling her and a little bit, it gets her back in a decent mood.
Cool.
So that's OLI number 1. Number 6 is the cuddles. I love the cuddles. She's in the cuddling stage sometimes. I don't get them.
These are the OLIs.
Yeah, well, some of these are pretty good.
Okay.
So, hey, at least they're on the top part of the list.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just when we're watching TV, like, just chilling out, and like sometimes before bed when I lay her down, she gives me a big old hug and won't let go, and I'm just like, aw. Yeah, you're right. This should be a lot higher than it is, but you know what? It's my list. But anyway, yeah, I love the cuddles. I know they're not gonna come. I know there's gonna be a time where she's gonna be like, "Dad, go away. Like, leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you. You made me mad." I'm like, "All right, whatever. What did I do? You just walked in the room. Okay, cool." But yeah, so I enjoy them while I get them, although I don't get them very often. But okay, now here's the real top 5. Drum roll. The fact that number 5, cartoons. The fact that I get to watch cartoons with her. Now, the ones she watches now are kind of, like the little Disney Junior ones that we talked about. They're okay. They get kind of annoying, but like when she gets older, God, I get to introduce her to like Scooby Doo and Tom and Jerry,
good stuff.
and all the
Simpsons.
Yes, the Simpsons. Like well, when she gets a little older, but yeah,
Yeah, because I didn't realize how
yeah.
like I was missing out because I was too young.
But all the good TV shows that I watched growing up, and hopefully she likes them.
Hopefully,
Maybe that can be one of my influences on her growing up.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. Like she's like, my dad really got me into cartoons.
Yeah. All right, number 4, the snacks. Because she likes all the old snacks that I like goldfish, which I don't feel guilty for eating goldfish as an adult. Screw you. I like goldfish, but when we keep those in stock at the house because she likes them, I like them. We go through them pretty regularly. Some of her I don't eat like her baby snacks. That's just a little ridiculous. I mean, sometimes she'll be like, here, she'll get one out of her little dish or whatever, and be like, here, eat it, and I'll have to eat it, or she gets kind of mad. But I don't go seeking those. I'm talking like normal snacks like goldfish, and I'm trying to think of another one that we get. Oh, she likes the little cheese in the single. Sometimes the string cheese, or you can get like the Sargento, the big block cheese, the little rectangle ones in the individual. She likes those, and I'll eat some of those. And we get her the applesauce packets, and some of those are really good. I'll eat a couple. Stuff like that. All right, number 3. Watching them learn / watching them grow is one of the cool things. I like watching my daughter try to figure things out. She won't let you help her with anything. Like, well, I mean, getting dressed and all that stuff is obvious. But like when she's trying to figure something out, if you do it, she gets really mad. And she'll throw one of those tantrums that really grinds my gears that we were just talking about. And but no, watching her just like I like to people watch in general. If we were ever to go to a park and just sit on a bench, I'd be just not being creepy, but just watching how they interact and just with society, just how they do. So I sit there and I just watch her sometimes, especially when she was like starting to figure stuff out at an early age, like at 1 year old and stuff like that. And I just love watching the wheels turn and her figuring out, oh, this triangle goes in the triangle spot and the circle goes in the circle spot, just stuff like that. And now it's getting to the point where she can repeat stuff to me. And when I tell her, like, we got the whole face covered, like eyebrow, eye, nose, mouth, chin, neck, ear, cheek, head, hair, hat. And she'll, every time before bed, she'll go through all of them and then get goofy, like point to my eye and say nose, and, like kids do. So that's one of them. Number 2, I'll try to hurry. You get a reason to act silly / goofy because they love it. Like that kind of goes into it, the easily amused. But I'm kind of naturally silly and goofy in general when I'm in my element, and they love it. Like at least my daughter loves it when you make funny faces and do all that kind of thing.
I hope like when you said that the first time, I was like, well, I hope that's coming because I can tickle him and stuff, but as far as something like just a face, like
I can just look at her all of a sudden. Like if we're watching TV and I just look at her and she catches me looking at her, she'll start giggling. The more I do it, the more she starts laughing. And I'm not doing anything. I'm just looking at her, just all like making a face, sticking my tongue out at her, and she starts giggling, and then we start playing. And number 1, I've been waiting for this since I found out I was going to be a dad, and it's finally here. It is when you come in the room or when you come in the door, you get daddy, and they come over and give you a hug around. We were talking about this, give you a hug around the legs or whatever, and it feels like they're holding on for 30 seconds, but it's only like one long second, 2 at the most, just enough for you to give them a kiss on the top of the head and a pat on the back, and then they run and play and want you to come sit down and play with them. And yeah, I've been waiting for that, and it's finally here, and I love it, and I'm cherishing it because it is so sweet.
That's why I'm a dog person, because I love how when you come home, your dog's like, happy to
Yeah,
see
wag
you.
your tail.
Yeah. Like I come home and the cat's like,
And,
hey, bitch.
yeah,
So
feed me.
yeah, it's not the same.
Yeah.
So, oh, but that was a good list. I'm a little bit surprised. I underestimated how good it was going to be. Any of those OLIs could have easily
Oh yeah.
been inside the top five, because that would have been a strong top seven.
Well, it is a top.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. So right on then, and that's another one of those new segments.
Occasionally, we're not gonna do
Yeah,
it every.
that one might not. I'm not good with those lists.
No, I'm not either. That one took a minute to.
Yeah. So, but that being said, hey, who knows? Maybe we'll come back with one. That there's another segment that we had that we still not got to, and it's a surprise, surprise, no spoilers. Maybe next time. I guess it's always nice to have something in the bag. It took us a full 7 days to plan today's recording, so it's always good to have something already started.
Yeah.
And that kind of brings us to the end here. I try to keep these things we both do, in a tidy 30-ish minute mark, and we have gone slightly over. But also when we edit, sometimes these things jump back down. So you hear me talking now about how we've been on here for 35 minutes, and then you get the episode and like, but it's only 20 minutes. What happened? Like, well, I said some stupid shit, or we talked about something crazy. So and it's gone now, and you're never gonna hear it. So, anyways, yeah. And since we didn't say it last time, I do want to get it out there. Hey, I'm not gonna really push this on you. I feel like we give you something here that, for the most part, like anybody would want to have. So please share, please subscribe, please follow, please tell everybody.
Even future dads. I told one of my buddies he just found out his girl's pregnant, and I told him that.
Yeah, especially for future dads. Like if you're a dad to be, man, this is where you need to come, because like everything that we're talking about, you're still gonna remember when it comes to,
Or you can
that
go
time
back,
in your life.
or you can go back and get her like re-listen if.
Yeah, and it's not like you're gonna have to like search through 2 dozen episodes or whatever. It's gonna be like, oh yeah, they've got 12 episodes, and the first one was this. So, you'll be good to go. That's what we're here for. We're here to give you a little bit of help, give you a little bit of laughing, and send you home happy at least once a week.
Give you something to talk about.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully you're able to talk with your buddy who also listens to the podcast, because you told him about it and you're both dads and you both love it, and you can like text back and forth about, oh, this part was great. No, I love how they did this, and maybe I'm gonna write in, and
We're going through the same shit.
yeah. So yeah, all that being said, I guess go out there and live and love and laugh and fuck and eat and all that good stuff. And this is Corey.
I'm Dan.
Hey, we'll check you later. Take it easy.